today's installment of the 22 Formula series, we're going to be covering the if function. This function is absolutely foundational and is usually the function that cracks open the love of Excel for everyone. Once you understand if formulas, you'll start seeing opportunities to use them everywhere. If you go to a cell and you start typing if and put a parentheses, notice that Excel does this little drop down explaining how the formula is structured. First section of the structure is a test. What do you want to determine? Is it true or is it false? The next section is what do you want me to do if the answer is true? And the next section is what do you want me to do if the answer is false? The structure never changes. Because the if function is foundational, I really want to work through a few examples, because the more you see this being used, the more ideas are going to pop into your head of how you can use it in your application. Let's say you're a teacher and you have a list of students and you're tracking how many days they're absent from your class. And your school's policy is that after 3 absences, you have to send a letter home to the parents. In that instance, you could write an if formula to determine if a letter is required or if it's not. And you would do that by writing if, and then the logical test would be, is the number of absences greater than or equal to 3? Then put a comma, and then the result you want if it's true, which in this case would be send letter, and the result you want if it's not true. And in this case, we're just going to leave it blank with 2 quotation marks. And then you close the parentheses and press enter, drag it down, and you have all of the students that you need to send letters home with. Another example, you're working on a project team and there's this huge to-do list of things to do and due dates that they need to be done by. You could use an if statement to determine all the items that are overdue. To do that, you would go equals if, and then we need to do the logic statement, and in this case it would be if the due date is less than today, then return overdue. If not, put on track. Drag those all down, and you've established which items in your list are overdue. You could also do it to create categories. The easiest one here is a pass-fail situation. Let's say you're running a course and you're doing a certificate program and they have to get 65 to pass. The statement there would be, if the grade is greater than or equal to 65, then pass, otherwise fail. Now in all of those examples, after I completed the logic test, the result that I was turning out, whether it was true or false, was typically some words. But you're not limited to just words. You could make it say numbers, you could make it do a formula, you could have it return blanks. You're not limited in what can be in the true and false category. Incorporating the AND function into your logic test in an if statement allows you to test for more than one condition. That is, AND helps if check multiple things at once. Here's how AND all by itself works. You type equals and then you put the conditions that you want in place with individual logic tests. And you can have as many as you want. In these instances, we're only going to do 2 to keep things simple. As long as all of these conditions are true, the result of the AND formula will also be true. If any one of them is false, then the whole thing is false. Now I can use this AND statement as the logic test of my if function to test multiple conditions at once. Here's some examples. I might have a list of invoices and I want to flag which ones are unpaid and also overdue, because I don't want to call up my customers that still have time to pay the bill and start nagging them, right? I want to know which ones are overdue and start nagging those people. So to write that formula, I would go equals if, then I'd put my parentheses, and now I'm going to do my logic test, which is my AND statement. So I would go AND parentheses, and now I put my logic tests. In this case, if this cell equals unpaid and this cell equals less than today, and then close my bracket and put my comma and put what happens if it's true, and let's have it return alert. And what happens if it's false? Let's have it return nothing. And then close the bracket and press enter, drag it down. Now I have all of my overdue unpaid invoices flagged. Earlier I said that if is a foundational function, and I meant it. The if function and other more complex formulas like it is what transforms Excel from a fancy calculator into a rule-based decision engine that can help you effectively and efficiently do your work.